But well, as far as maybe talking about community, how did you find yourself here at Akin?
I was sitting in my studio in Brooklyn, and I knew my visa was expiring in about 2 months. And I knew I was moving back to Toronto. Trump had just gotten elected. And and I absolutely knew that I needed a studio. Like, I had invested so much, and I sacrificed like my personal life, and moving to New York. Like, I left my partner behind, I left my family, I was there alone, that I knew I had to not move back to Toronto and just get a job and like stop my art career, but I had to continue it. And having a studio was like, I knew this quintessential thing that I needed to make that happen. And so I just did research. I was like, Googled studio space in Toronto. And then artscape.
Which is a very frustrating search. I've done that one as well a number of times.
Oh yeah. So you're like, Craigslist, $1,600 for a garage or something.
Yeah, and there's like 4 listings. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Come work in the dungeon with no windows.
And I'm like,
yeah. No.
So it was like Artscape was like the number one I knew. But at the time, they really didn't. They had the distillery, they had Witchwood Barns. They were kind of too far and too expensive. And then Akin came up in my Google search, and I had emailed Oliver at the time, and they seemed really receptive and really open. And when I did move back to Toronto, like a month or 2 later, I like distinctly remember walking. I was like so nervous because I was like, I literally moved back to Toronto 2 or 3 days prior. And then I met Michael at Akin Dufferin. I walked into the room, and he was just like standing there with his like laptop, and it definitely like looked like a grungy artist. It was great, and like the space at Akin Dufferin is very is not as clean as DuPont are here. It was like very much like kiln ceramics, and it just had like an awesome atmosphere. And as soon as I like walked in and we started talking, I could just tell instantly that like this was a community, or at least a relationship that had like a lot to it. And so I just like immediately had like a gut reaction. I was like, yep, okay. Maybe not this building, but he's like, you can go to this other one at Wade, and like I'll meet you there or whatever. And so I came here, and like that day I got studio space.
Yeah.
It was. I just kind of had an instinct that this was it, and I hadn't really met anyone else, but I could just tell that the programming that they do is really important. And like that first month I went to all like the show and tells, every single event, like the gallery crawls, like those things are vital.
They are really vital.
Yeah.
And I think that working in a creative field, it's also vital to have a community. And I think that Akin gets it really right in a lot of ways for fostering that and having it available.
Yeah, and I knew I didn't want to. Would have been cheaper to have a studio in my apartment. Would have been cheaper and easier maybe to just go in with 1 or 2 other people, create my own space. But there was something about like having access to not only just the events, but like walking around and seeing other people's work and then talking to other people that was one of the basis of the best experiences in grad school that I wanted to replicate here. And I do have it, which is pretty phenomenal, because I do know a lot of people from grad school who didn't continue that and need the studio space to make work. And it's a big expense, but it is invaluable. Like I can make a piece and then like call out to Atanas. He was like, Atanas, this piece is not working. Can you come over here? He comes over. We talk about it for a few minutes. He's like, I think you should cut this or do this. And then do you know what I mean? Like I need that to feed off someone else's eyes and someone else's like insight. And like I super appreciate that. And then I made like 5 different versions that he was there for and guided me through, or like we can bounce ideas off each other. And same thing, like when he can't like input, he's a designer, which hopefully we'll do an interview with him too. But like, yeah, or he needs help like scanning something, or he needs help like photographing a piece to insert in one of his designs, like I'm there to help, which is part of why I feel very close, and it's their kin. Get it? Like I can.